I love kung fu movies. I mean, I really love kung fu movies.
Be careful, man. He's trapped. Your kung fu's better than mine. You must take command. Avenge. Avenge Master Death. I rely on you. Run! Cut! Come on! Take it easy. Don't let us escape. Come on! Careful, we've got to split up.
Have you ever wondered that maybe, just maybe, that crime syndicates, Chinese triads, Chinese Mafia have control of the industry of kung fu movies and actors for various reasons? What if? Hello everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak. I have long wondered about this myself, and of course a big part of me does believe it. And there's a lot of proof that actually, well, in my opinion, there is. I grew up with Shaw Brothers kung fu movies, like the clip that you just saw with the movie Executioner of Death, which was later retitled Executioner from Shaolin, and various other movies that I loved a lot too. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm not gonna say the titles of them. But there was a couple of Shaw Brother actors that were killed. One was killed in an automobile accident, and his name was Alexander Fusheng, who died in 1983. And the weird thing is, he died right after buying Bruce Lee's house. And Bruce Lee died in 1973. So 10 years later, Alexander Fusheng died after buying his house. Because that was his biggest dream. That was one of his dreams, was to buy Bruce Lee's house. To start a family or do whatever. And he died in an automobile, in a car accident. there was rumors saying that he was speeding because he already got a speeding ticket before the accident, and then he just took off later on, and then he just started speeding again, like he was in a hurry because he had to. I don't know what the reason was for. I read about it in a magazine called Inside Kung Fu magazine. Now this was like in the late 80s or early 90s. I think it was the early 90s when I read it. And the thing about it is, there was also rumors saying that he was becoming too big, and the Chinese triads wanted him killed. And they somehow either caused the accident. I'm not really quite sure how the rumor was done, how the rumor was said. However, there was also another incident regarding to another actor. I forgot his name, but he was very good in acrobatics. He was a skinny guy, and he had an enormous amount of talent. I mean, this guy was just amazing. And he was from Taiwan. But he was also somewhat of an alcoholic. And he went through depression because a lot of the pressure that he got from the Chinese cinema. And his wife ended up either leaving him or something like that, and he got depressed from that. So he drank to the point that he died from alcohol poisoning. And it seems like the crime syndicate of the triads benefit more money-wise, profit and everything from someone's death. However it's done, whether it's an alleged suicide, whether it's an accident or misadventure, like with Bruce Lee. And you all know about the story about Bruce Lee. And there was also one concerning like a number of other actors. But the thing about it is, it's something that raises the question: can they profit a lot of money from an actor's death? And that's a big what if. There was also a time when Jackie Chan, who was actually very, very he looked up to Bruce Lee a lot. He admired him like crazy. He was about, I think, 17 or 18 years old when he first met Bruce Lee. And he was in two films. He was in Chinese Connection. He was the one that, the scene where Bruce Lee near the end of the movie, where he did a jump kick and he kicked the Japanese guy through the window, or through the door, actually through the door. And then there was a scene where a guy was flying across this one yard from outside of the door. That was Jackie Chan. He did that stunt. And he was also the guy that grabbed Bruce Lee in a bear hug. And then Bruce Lee reversed it, and then he snapped his neck. That was Jackie Chan. He was 19 years old when he did that scene. So for those of you, I don't have the footage right now to show, but he was the one that was in that fight scene in the cave. He was 19 years old at that time. And there was also a moment that he actually would never forget. But then there was also something else to it that kind of like makes me think, what if the triads also got to Jackie Chan and bought him out?
say anything, just sat there and watched him, and then left. And Jackie was on cloud nine for a couple of days because he said the whole bowling alley knew that I brought Bruce Lee with me. It brought him so much face, to use the Chinese term. So he really idolized Bruce Lee, but at the same time, I think he was a little jealous of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was born in the United States in San Francisco, and he was the only Hong Kong star to appeal to an American audience and be famous with an American audience. And it's something that Jackie was never able to achieve until recently.
And that's one example that was from a documentary. I just wanted to play that for you, for all of you. So I'm pretty sure that ambition and, wanting to go up to the next level, you're going to be noticed. You're going to be noticed, and pretty much you're going to be approached. And it's really no different how Bruce Lee was approached when he started to get bigger and bigger and more famous. Now, the thing about it is, I'm pretty sure that Jackie Chan joined a particular triad. Now, I don't know if it's one of the good guys or the bad guys. I'm not really sure. Anybody can just say anything. However, there was also something else, and this is very, very important.
Jackie Chan is just about the only top star who has managed to stay principally free of triad pressure because he's so big, because Golden Harvest, his company, is a large legitimate company, but also because his movies are so expensive to make, and triads don't want to invest that kind of money in making a film. They want to make a quick buck. Now, for people in the know, this wasn't really a demonstration against triads. It was a demonstration against bad triads. Because the Hong Kong movie industry makes the distinction between good and bad triads. There's so many organized crime figures. There are some that you sort of work for because they scare off the bad ones. The bad ones are the ones that will kidnap you or rape you if you're an actress, or in some cases, have you killed.
And that's what kind of worries me in a sense. And it kind of bothered me for many years. I just wanted to play that for all of you, for you to listen, to see maybe if it makes sense to you, like the way it does with me. I don't know if Jackie Chan is completely sold out, because from what I understand, a lot of people hate him now because they consider him two-faced. And he's favoring the Chinese government, as well as the whole idea of taking away the people's freedom in China, for whatever the reason. Now, I don't know if there's any truth to that. I honestly don't know. But that's what I hear from and what I saw on YouTube on the things that he allegedly did. Of course, I mean, there's other things about him having an illegitimate daughter that he actually disowned, and the woman, because he had an affair. And the woman that he had an affair with, she got pregnant and had her. And from what I understand, Jackie Chan hardly was ever in her life, and she was verbally abused by her mother, possibly even physically abused. Who knows? And I don't know if that's even worth mentioning, even though it's very tragic and stuff like that. And of course, she went through many years of taking drugs, and then she came out saying that she was a lesbian. And she got married to a woman. And there's a whole big mess. I mean, there's a lot to that. I don't know too much about it. But it seems to me that Jackie Chan, the reason why he's still alive today is because of the fact that he actually sold out. Not because he wanted to, but because he had to. First, the Chinese triads and the crime syndicates and stuff like that, and possibly even the government, in order to stay alive, in order for him to live a long life until he dies of old age. And if that's true, I think that's very sad. I could understand, you get scared, and then you're put into a position where you have no choice but to give in. It's really sad and stuff like that. And I know that things are rough all over, there's corruption all over the world. I understand that. It's kind of heartbreaking that even the kung fu cinema of top actors, the ones that you look up to and admire, being approached by crime syndicates, triads, Chinese mafia, call it what you will, call them what you will, and stuff like that. And it's just very sad. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Questions or comments, you know what to do. And this is Dare to Speak. And to all of you, take care.